everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing another edition of What I Am Thinking. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and know nothing about this video series, it is exactly how it sounds. It is a video series where I talk to you guys about what I am thinking. I can talk about anything. I can talk about religion, politics, earwax, anything. But chances are it's going to be something related to my channel, like comic books, video games, or anything else in that fashion. Now, originally I had planned a different What I Am Thinking segment, a more personal What I Am Thinking today, but in light of recent events, I'm changing it. I'm sure you guys probably already know because I have a title up there that says something alluding to what I am actually thinking. But today we are going to be talking about WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, some of you guys may know this, some of you guys may not, but I am a wrestling fan. I love wrestling in all of its campiness and awesomeness. Sure, it's fake, but so are movies and comic books and television. So what's the problem with me watching a man's soap opera? It's fun, it's enjoyable, and it really does hit the primal things that men like. Over-the-top macho actionness and big action fights. Violence. It's silly, but it's what I enjoy, and it's what a lot of guys enjoy. I love wrestling. And I like to think of wrestling kind of like I think of Star Wars. Is that it's kind of like a marriage. It's for better and for worse, in sickness and health, in rich and poor, till death do us part. You know, I don't always have to like what's happening in wrestling, but I still like wrestling. I still love it. It's like Star Wars. Right now there's a lot happening in Star Wars that I don't love, but I still love Star Wars. In saying that, let me give you a little bit of history that I have with wrestling before we actually get into the topics that I kind of want to talk about. And I am going to warn you, this video may not have an overarching purpose, or it may not even be that well organized, but I kind of just want to get some stuff off my chest. So, here we go. Wrestling. I started watching wrestling in the mid to late 90s. During the birth of the Attitude Era. And let's just say I started watching around 1996. I started watching wrestling then, and I loved wrestling. I got consumed by it. I would stay up and try to watch it over a friend's house, or I would stay up and try to watch it over our house. And back then, that's when I had bedtimes. So I had to be in bed by 8, not 8, by 10 or something. So I would need to sneak in wrestling, but I would watch wrestling, and it was amazing, and instantly I got hooked on a few wrestlers. I'll get into that a little bit later. Wrestling was perfect for me between the years of 1996 to 2003. In that gap of time, in that about 7-year gap of time, was the golden age of wrestling. The Attitude Era. It was the best of wrestling. Period. Then after 2003, wrestling had a slight bit of a drop. I would have to say at the end of 2004 is where wrestling hit what I call the dark times, where wrestling wasn't that good, wasn't that interesting, and for about 2 or 3 years it just bored the shit out of me, and I really didn't watch it that much. I stayed updated, but I just didn't care. I mean, you gotta understand, a lot of wrestlers I liked were gone, and a lot of wrestlers I didn't like were coming up. Around 1997, I got back into wrestling briefly, but it only was briefly. I believe that's when Randy Orton was champion and defeated Triple H and Cena at WrestleMania in a triple threat match. I stopped watching wrestling for a bit, but then I got back on board. And since then, since around late 2008, I have been back in wrestling, watching it, I want to say on a, for the most part, casual basis. I mean, what I do with my fiance is we watch Raw every night. Or every week. Not every night, that'd be a little time consuming, but every week. And it's kind of got her into wrestling, so she has her own favorites. She's not as hardcore as I am, but she gets entertained with it, and a lot of her favorites are people that I don't like, so we kind of clash, and it's really actually kind of fun between a couple. It's healthy, kind of. Healthy for me, I don't know about her. She gets pissed off very easily about some of the stuff I say. Sorry. Anyways, so wrestling has kind of been blah. There's several reasons attributing to this. One is the PG rating. I like seeing chair shots to the head. I like seeing people thrown off the Titantron. I like seeing violence. I like seeing blood. That was the wrestling I grew up on. I grew up on the wrestling where Stone Cold Steve Austin would take Kurt Angle at SummerSlam and start wounding on him when Kurt Angle had no guard and bleeding profusely and just keep on hitting him. While The Rock at Royal Rumble would take a chair and knock Mick Foley in the head. Oh, what, like 20 somewhat times? Legitimately in the head, splitting his head open. Excuse me. So I think the PG rating is one reason why the wrestling hasn't been that good. This is kind of cliche answer, but I think John Cena is a big reason too. He soaks up the sunlight, and he prevents younger talent from getting up. It's kind of funny in this big Cena Rock thing that's been happening. A lot of people say, well, Rock coming back is going to hold the people back. No, John Cena's been holding people back. And people have had 7 years to impress me when The Rock wasn't there. Not many people have been impressing me. So, yeah, I think Cena's another reason, the fact that he soaks up the sunlight, and he also hasn't changed much in the past 7 years or so. So, yeah, Cena is another reason. I think the brand extension is stupid. I think they should just get rid of it. And I think SmackDown should be a live show. I think that's another thing that needs to be done in order for wrestling to be good again. Those are just some minor gripes. There's a few others, like they don't do wrestling moves anymore. Like one of my co-workers pointed out, everyone gets put into a fireman carry, and then there's some kind of finish off that. There's no power bombs anymore, no pile drivers anymore. It's just kind of standard stuff. And some of the wrestlers refuse to change their repertoire, like John Cena, Rey Mysterio are the biggest offenders. What they do isn't bad per se, it's just the same stuff over and over again. When Rey Mysterio first came to the WWE, I was like that because I thought he was such a good wrestler. 2 or 3 years later, I said, okay, it's the same thing over and over again. Change it up. Older wrestlers could change it up, but I'm kind of getting a little off track on what I really want to divulge into. Wrestling just hasn't been good lately. Or has it? Wrestling started to get good once again, started getting entertaining for me once again with the return of none other than The Rock. The jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising people's champion. The Rock is my favorite wrestler of all time. Period. And I was discussing this with my fiance because she hates The Rock. She loves John Cena. She hates The Rock. And she said to me, what is it about The Rock that you like so much? He's such a cocky individual. And I said, you have to understand, The Rock is like a real life hero to me. When I was younger, I didn't have confidence. I was a chubby fat kid. I didn't have any friends. And I would watch wrestling. And I would see this man come out, The Rock, with a name like The Rock. It sounds like Superman. It's like a defining, powerful name. He comes out, The Rock. He's strong. He's athletically fit. He's confident. He's charismatic. He's vernacularly sound. And he doesn't back down from anyone. And he was like a real-life superhero to me, and he inspired me to become better. And this may sound like a really silly thing, but it's the truth. Rock has changed my life. Rock was inspiration for me to get off my ass and do something, to become more confident, to take risks, to try to speak better, to get fit, to try to be a overall better person. So, having The Rock back is huge for me. Now I'm going to take one pause because I have to handle with something, but we'll return in 1 second. So, The Rock. To me, The Rock is my favorite wrestler of all time. He's the only wrestler I'll be biased towards. I mean, I'll have my favorite wrestlers, and I'll say, well, I want him to lose this time, or win this time, or lose this time. With The Rock, I'm completely biased. I say The Rock has to win 100% of the time because he's my people's champion. That's another thing The Rock does, is while all the other wrestlers came out and said, well, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'm going to go and stun this son of a bitch and win the title because I'm Stone Cold, hell yeah. Or Triple H would go, I am the gamer, and I'm going to come out and beat ya, and take your title, Or Undertaker would be, I am the Lord of Darkness. I am going to take the WWE Championship and win at WrestleMania. Or, I am Chris Jericho. I am the icicle of rock and roll. While all of them are going around and doing their thing, talking about how great they are and how they're winning for them, you know what The Rock did? The Rock would come out and he would say, finally, The Rock has come back. Insert city here. To blah blah blah. And The Rock would say, The Rock is gonna walk down that ramp and win the WWE Championship, not for The Rock, but for the people. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. See, The Rock, he fought for the people. Other people fought for themselves. But let me continue. So, I was losing so much interest in wrestling. So much interest in wrestling. I was about to stop because, with the exception of like 3 wrestlers, there was no point in watching it. It was the same thing. It's like CM Punk said, oh no, John Cena's coming out and he wants another title match. Ooh, is this a rerun? It's the same thing over and over again. But The Rock came back. My favorite wrestler came back. It's not like it's one of my favorite wrestlers like Chris Jericho or Mick Foley or Rob Van Dam that would spike a little bit of interest in my mind. No, it is The Rock. And he came back and it was perfect for me. He came back, it was, I'll tell you the story. It was Valentine's Day, 2010. I think it was 10. 11. It was 2011. Sorry. Got my dates mixed up. Valentine's Day, 2011. My fiance, which I had not proposed to her at that point yet, we were still just boyfriend and girlfriend, we were laying down, snuggling up, watching Raw, after a nice long day of Valentine's Day. You can take that for whatever it's worth. I'll think of it in the most decent way possible, and we're wrestling, and the utter stupidity of what I say. Sometimes guys don't think when they say things. Vince McMahon is announcing who's going to be the host to WrestleMania, and all I hear is, if you smell, and I get up, I'm like, oh my god, I'm screaming, and Christine's like, what, I'm like, oh my god, and The Rock comes down, and I'm grabbing her by the leg, I'm like, The Rock, she's like, so, it's The Rock, and I'm flipping out, and finally I look at her, I'm like, best Valentine's Day ever! She's like, oh, because The Rock came back, and it's not because you loved me? I'm like, The Rock! Oh, was not the smartest thing I've ever said. So, anyways, The Rock came back, and it was great. And The Rock came back, and you know what he did? Called out Cena. And I hate Cena. Cena is my least favorite wrestler. Let me get this out of the way first, before all you Cena fans jump on me. I do not hate Cena the person. I like Cena the person. Cena the person comes off as a good guy. He comes off as a respectable guy that cares about the company and cares about the fans. Cena the person is fantastic. There is no better person backstage in wrestling than Cena the person. Cena the wrestler, Cena the character, though, I despise. Because he always wins, because he's always in the spotlight, because he's always holding wrestlers I love back, and it's the same shit over and over again. And CM Punk said it the best. What I hate most about Cena is not the fact that he wins so much, it's the perception that everyone thinks he's the best. To me, the best are the following: Hulk Hogan, Bret the Hitman Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Bruno Sammartino. Those are the best to me. The perception of Cena being the best? No. Cena May has had a lot of title reigns, and people will be like, well, he's 11-time WWE champion. Yeah, that means he's lost the title 11 times. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. Then people will be like, yeah, well, he's held the title for a year at a time. Yeah, and who did he fight during that time? Randy Orton? Carlito Caribbean Cool? Like, Wade Barrett? Look back to when Rock and Austin held the titles. Their title reigns were significantly shorter than John Cena's. Who would they fight on a daily basis? Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Hulk Hogan, Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, themselves, Stone Cold, and The Rock. You know, Eddie Guerrero, and, you know, Chris Benoit, and they would also fight Booker T, and they would fight DDP, and they would fight the big names of wrestling. Who does John Cena fight? Oh, I took out Randy Orton. Heaven forbid, nothing against Randy Orton. I love Randy Orton to death. But it's like, oh, I took out Carlito. Another successful title defense. Hey, Wade Barrett got taken out. Another successful title defense. I just hate the perception that John Cena is the best. So again, not to get off point, because I told you this is going to be disorganized. Rock came out, and Rock called out John Cena. And it was like the perfect storyline building up. John Cena talks trash to The Rock. Rock talks trash about Cena. WrestleMania, Rock screws John Cena. Why? Because John Cena put his hands on The Rock. If he never put his hands on The Rock, then Rock would never do what he did. John Cena's an idiot for touching The Rock. And then they set up this year-long match. This year-long build-up to WrestleMania, which just culminated 2 nights ago with The Rock defeating John Cena. Now, you gotta understand how awesome this is for me. See, John Cena should never have won at WrestleMania because there's no point to it. There's nothing that would ever come from it, storyline-wise or anything else. However, Rock winning at WrestleMania is fantastic. One, and I'm going to say personally, all for me. One, The Rock beat John Cena at WrestleMania. The thing that he almost never loses at, legitimately and cleanly. John Cena's never lost cleanly at WrestleMania. He's lost to Randy Orton in a triple threat match, which I believe Randy Orton pinned Triple H. I could be wrong. And then he lost to Miz, but Rock interfered. So he lost cleanly at WrestleMania to The Rock. The only person that, Triple H couldn't do it, Randy Orton couldn't do it, HBK couldn't do it, Batista couldn't do it. Who took out Cena? The Rock at WrestleMania. So that was storybook for me. Then The Rock adds a huge accolade to his belt. He's defeated Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, which only one other person has done. He defeated Stone Cold at WrestleMania, which only one other person has done. And he's also defeated John Cena cleanly at WrestleMania. It gives The Rock such momentum as saying he is really the best of all time. I think the only thing The Rock has never done is successfully win or defend the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So that's another reason. Well, in 2, it sets up so much story possibilities for Cena, possibly turning him heel, or teasing it, or maybe setting up another feud. It just works out perfectly. Then, last night, Raw happened. And I was talking to my buddy, and probably the only person I know that's a bigger wrestling fan than I am, and he actually has a channel called OKFave down in the description. We were talking, and he said, well, I think it's going to be a best 2 out of 3 falls match between Cena and Rock. I said, no, shouldn't happen. It's going to taint what happened at WrestleMania, and it's called once in a lifetime match. I don't care if they want this. For the fans, it's once in a lifetime, and it happened. And you know what happened? Is Cena is not fighting The Rock again. They closed up the story, which is good, and they're starting a new one with Brock Lesnar. Now, to be fair, I'm not, I'm happy Brock is back, but I'm a little concerned. I don't think his return was so impactful. Because, see, with The Rock, no one saw it coming. With Brock Lesnar, a lot of people saw it coming. They were chanting, "We want Lesnar." And 2, when Lesnar came back, he looked a little smaller. I know he slimmed down for UFC, but he didn't look as much of an animal as he did beforehand. I'm interested to see where it goes, though. It should be interesting. And I think John Cena Brock Lesnar match feud would be nice. Last time they feuded was back when John Cena was all rapping and actually entertaining. So that should be interesting. And then The Rock is going to say that he's going to go and get the WWE Championship. Once again, becoming an 8-time WWE Champion. Which is like a dream come true for me. Having The Rock champion again. So, what is the point of this video? I guess the point of this video is just me venting about wrestling. How it's been shitty and then it turned out to be really good this past year. The build-up for Rock and Cena was very nice. And as much as I hate Cena, I think The Rock brought out some of the best Cena promos in years. Cena was well done on the mic this year, as well as The Rock, if not better at some points, which is hard to say. I think overall The Rock was better vernacularly because Cena kept on having that damn smirk of a smile on him. But on a whole, I thought this year of wrestling has been really good, with a lot of other things too. There's a lot of things to be mentioned. Chris Jericho's return, although greatly overshadowed by The Rock's return, Chris Jericho has been on mark. CM Punk has been incredibly enjoyable. Sheamus has been enjoyable. Daniel Bryan, who I loathed, is amazingly funny. I love it when Daniel Bryan comes out and goes, "Yes! Yes! Yes! Yes!" And I can't stop laughing. And I do it, and my fiance just looks at me. She's like, "Stop. Stop. Stop. Stop." It is hilarious. So, wrestling is it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So, what am I thinking? What should happen at next year's WrestleMania? Well, it's way too early in advance to see. But, we know Rock said he wants to be at WrestleMania 29 in some fashion, whether it's just appearing or actually wrestling. What I would like to see, personally for me, completely biased, putting storylines away, I would like to see Rock successfully win or defend the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Now, against whom is up to you. I think CM Punk would be a good pick because CM Punk's hot right now. I think Alberto Del Rio would be good. No, I take that back. Maybe not Alberto Del Rio. He needs to get a little bit more leverage. Maybe another heel like Dolph Ziggler would be good. Or The Rock have a match against Randy Orton, which should be interesting. And I think John Cena and Lesnar's feud should really be dragged out. They really should build this up. And it should be good. But yeah, I kind of just vented. This was a weird what I am thinking. No structure, no formula, just me talking about wrestling. But wrestling is enjoyable again because The Rock is back. One of the reasons why wrestling wasn't enjoyable is because there was really no good wrestlers. At the end of 2003, you gotta understand, Mick Foley wasn't making any more appearances. The Rock left. Stone Cold left. He retired. And, all that was left was Undertaker and Triple H, really. I mean, there were a few others, but, like Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho, but they kind of faded away, too. Wrestling kind of died off for me. But now it's getting to be good again. And I'm happy. So, that is what I am thinking.